Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today, we're discussing Farscape, Season 4, Episode 5, Promises. The crew return to Moya and find Scorpius and Erin. Erin's time away from the ship has caught up with her. How do you find this episode?
I liked it. It has some weird stuff in it, and I like weird stuff. I think the visual of Erin in the Scorpius suit is enough for me. That's interesting enough.
That's a creepy visual. It's also the visual of Scorpius in the Scorpius suit.
I like it because it's a good way to get under John's skin. We've already had Erin die at the hands of Scorpius. What if she aligned with him and insisted he not be harmed? It's probably more terrifying for John.
This episode was a good exploration of anxiety. In some ways, John keeps imagining things being a lot worse than they probably are.
A lot of terrible things happen to John, and some of them real.
It's just unusual for heroes to actually have to deal with that kind of stuff. Or at least usually they don't represent it so well in most shows.
It's usually, oh, my greatest fear is this thing. It's happening right now. I'm dealing with it. And not anxieties about possibilities.
Yeah, they deal with it and then they're kind of fine.
Oh, another thing this episode did that I really liked is when they say how long they have for Moya to be out, to pretend to be dead or whatever.
Yeah.
They say 800 microts, which is way too long for me to count along and try to figure out if they timed it right. And usually shows will give you a time frame that you can count 10 or 20 seconds. And then if you do, which I invariably do, it's always off and it annoys me.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. 800 microts is like, what, 13 minutes? 20 seconds? So it would be obvious that it didn't show that much. It cuts through that.
They eliminate that problem and don't create superficial tension. And they don't even get close to it, but then there's still a problem. So you can still create tension with that without relying on, oh, they figured it out last second. I was really happy they did that.
It was a nice little ruse. Worked well. This episode fit together pretty well. They came up with a plan that's an actual war crime.
What?
John and Dargo came up with a plan that is a war crime.
I'm not up on my war crimes. You'll have to explain.
If you read the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court on War Crimes, Article 8, Paragraph 2b, Definition 7, it says improperly using a flag of truce is defined as a war crime.
Okay.
But they were just right into that.
Do war crimes extend into space? Did the Romans consider that?
It's not the actual Romans.
Oh.
It's the United Nations, and technically they're not at war, so but as representatives of Moya, they are a sovereign entity. So they committed a war crime in this episode. That's
why it's so good.
Yeah, just wait for the episode where John gets back to Earth and they throw him in The Hague for a war crime. So Erin killed some dude.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a big reveal, I think, and I didn't really care.
The crew of Moya have killed a lot of dudes, often for pretty bad reasons. And they've committed several robberies, as they admitted themselves.
I think we know Erin too well for this to have any impact. We know what kind of person she is. We've seen a lot of her and her actions.
Well, yeah, we can assume this dude probably wasn't the best dude.
Yeah, that, and she probably had really good reasons. She's not one to go out and kill willy-nilly.
She's probably getting paid really well. I didn't understand why she wanted to keep quiet about it.
Because that increases drama.
Why, though? I mean, I understand why it increases drama. It seemed like she would have said, hey, yeah. So me and a couple of friends who will remain nameless went and were contracted to kill this dude, and we did. And he was a bad guy, so that's kind of okay, right? And John would have said, okay, that's, yeah, whatever.
Especially with John. Why would she keep secrets from him?
It seems like she was trying to keep it for moral reasons, but John is really trigger happy. John has shot a lot of people.
He's the last person she should hesitate to tell anything. Well, I guess she made a promise and she's really big on that, but still.
These people aren't there, though. Oh, it seems a bit academic.
They can't do the thing where they share everything, though. They're not married yet.
Yet.
I'm gonna guess they get married.
They did in John's head at the end of season 3.
Oh, yeah.
Many times.
That's why he's so frustrated. They're basically married. She should tell him everything.
She didn't confirm or disconfirm the preg.
That was a little annoying.
But she kind of confirmed it.
By staring out at space?
Well, he said, John said, you're preg, and she said, So, if she was not preg, John would have said, well, you tell me if you're pregnant, right? And she would have said, yeah, I would tell you if I was pregnant.
Of course. Why would I keep that to myself?
Instead, she went quiet and looked confused with a kind of, how did you know I was pregnant face?
Yeah. I don't think she's pregnant in the traditional way. I think there's something else there.
Butt babies? It's space, it's sci-fi. That's maybe just fan fiction.
Kind of twist.
Twist pregnancy.
Yes, a twist pregnancy. Unique to sebaceous.
It comes out of the mouth? Okay, it's probably not related to the exit orifice.
Yes.
What twist are you expecting? I'm trying to think what twist there could be.
I didn't get that far, but I was thinking about this and thinking it's the word pregnancy will probably make sense, but I don't think it'll be traditional what is normally thought of. That's terribly ambiguous and not helpful, but I don't know. I don't think she's just carrying John's child and that's it.
That's fine. I think they probably have not finished with this pregnancy plot thread. It'd be such a weird place to leave it. John just never mentions it again. He assumed that face meant, no, I'm not pregnant. That was enough.
He's terrible at reading faces and he thought that was a firm no. As in, no, I'm not pregnant, not, no, I wouldn't tell you.
It's a yes, I would tell you, and no, I'm not pregnant face. That's how bad he is.
Very complex look.
It's a complex misread. Scorpius asks for asylum. I'll say that 3 times fast.
I'd rather not. Scorpius seeks asylum. Scorpius seeks asylum.
Okay,
Scorpius
yeah.
seeks asylum.
Very clever. So they have a Scorpio boy kicking around. His new bedroom seems to be kind of obviously a cell.
He's a fun guy to have around now that Harvey's gone.
What is Scorpius's plan?
To hang out and be best buds with John.
It did seem like he was just telling the truth the whole time.
But he's really good at that, at deception. So he sounds genuine and it disarms you, but it's Scorpius.
He's saying the right thing at the right time. He was very vague about how he survived the planet. The being buried alive.
Good magician doesn't reveal his tricks.
Or they couldn't think of how he survived.
That too. Maybe because it made no sense.
I guess
it's one of those things where he's so skilled and good at things that your brain will skip over the explanation part. You think, well, he would figure something out, and it's okay that it's not explained.
I wanted to know, though. He just sort of said, yeah, preparation or something. Foresight, I think, was the word he used.
Oh, and it also helps cast doubt on Sukozu. Maybe she did help him out.
I don't think she did, because when they're alone, he says that she didn't.
He's trying to deceive the audience in his head.
Sure, but then Sukozu would have had a face. Like Aaron's face. Like, what?
No, she's really dense. She didn't get it.
Oh, she's pretty smart. She worked out the chameleon ship, which, by the way, is right out of the Corbomite maneuver. The episode of the original Star Trek called the Corbomite maneuver.
Oh, I thought you were just saying noises.
It's a good episode. Scorpius has a spy.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he dropped that little truth bomb.
Who's the spy?
What's that right-hand guy? Daka?
Braca, you mean Smithers?
Yeah, there we go.
What about angry security soldier guy?
I don't know who that is.
He did not have a name, but he was saying the missile should not go, and he was also snooping.
Oh, that seems more likely.
What about Grazer? She's somehow spying on herself.
I could see that. I could see her doing something that made no sense.
That would actually be pretty Farscape.
She accidentally seduced herself?
Well, maybe more like Scorpius put a chip in her head. She sometimes spies on herself. It would be the perfect spy.
I hope that's what happens. Even if that's not the reveal, I'm going to do some mental gymnastics to make sure that fits canonically.
Peacekeepers are really, really hard on people who make genuine mistakes. It must be so stressful to be a peacekeeper.
They have that part of their brain removed.
What part?
All
sort
of
of empathy and an assignment of guilt.
Worry of consequences through mistakes.
Oh, fair enough. I don't...
Really? You're going to take that?
I don't think they'd need to remove that part of the brain. I think it would evolve out pretty quick, considering they kill anyone that makes a mistake. Or they don't kill them, but, well, do they? I don't know. It seems almost like they do.
I took it as they do.
Yeah, that's an evolutionary pressure to not make mistakes ever.
You want to fit in with the herd.
They got into a battle of wits with some dude who eventually just cured Aaron anyway.
He had cool makeup.
Looked a bit like a Diagnosin, but not quite.
I actually thought it was a Diagnosin at first.
Yeah, pretty similar.
I appreciate the makeup that's not just a human painted blue or whatever. No offense, Anne, but it's nice when they can afford to do something more. It's just nice to and interesting to look at.
It's good. There was 3 of them as well. What a treat. Feels like season 1 again.
And they had differences in their appearance, their face. It wasn't all exactly the same. I could distinguish them.
Yeah, it's very nice. They were a bit daft, though.
You're allowed to be when you look cool.
They felt like generic bad guys in the end.
It would be so much worse if they were just dudes in trench coats, though.
That would have sucked, yeah. Rigel was the secret hero you always want him to be.
Not so secret. That was a pretty obvious hero.
Yes, but he used headbutting to help someone.
Secret technique.
That's not the first time he's headbutted someone for the cause.
When he headbutts someone, though, he's hurling his whole body. It's more like a body butt.
Yeah, it's like being hit with a rock. A basketball-sized rock. Prevented Aaron from committing seppuku.
I didn't think there was any way she would pull the trigger.
That would be a bit silly. There are points where it makes contextual sense for characters to die. That was not one of them.
No, it did not feel like a dying moment.
So Rigel was just protecting the plot tone.
He was saving us.
He is a true secret hero. They thought he was just saving Aaron, but he was actually saving the writers of the show from a very poorly placed death scene.
Oh, that would have been awful.
He also requested to use torture on his shipmates. So once again, I guess he's kind of neutral.
The pendulum sways both ways.
That's a good analogy. That kind of makes him sound bipolar, though.
He kind of is.
Yeah, sometimes he's really helpful, and other times he's really Rigel. Pilot requested a captain or a leader.
About time.
Yeah, they weren't too fast off the mark on getting that sorted out.
When that was brought up, I thought, oh, that's a good idea, but you should have done this years ago.
They were just a ragtag group. Now they've grown up, and also there's a lot of people on Moya at the moment, and a lot of them don't agree. Not that the crew ever agrees on much. Who will be the captain?
Scorpius.
That would be quite an interesting choice.
He has the most to prove that he's worthy of being the spokesperson.
He also has the most experience.
See, he's clearly the best choice.
I think nepotism might play a part, though. He's the most qualified, there's no doubt about that, having been a captain for a lot of years, at least. Perhaps most of his life. But I feel that one of the classic crew may get selected. Maybe Naranti.
I would rather have Scorpius than Naranti.
Yeah, at least with Scorpius you know what you're getting.
He would at least think out his decisions. Whereas Naranti feels like a walking Ouija board.
She's entertaining. I feel she's being used like a drop-in replacement for Stark. Just doing strange things and kind of being comic relief.
She just needs to be paired up with Rigel now.
That is something that would be a very bad move.
To be clear, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work well.
She's fine just doddering about doing whatever she does. What happened to Maya?
What do you mean?
Narenti said that Pilot remembered what happened, but now Pilot doesn't remember.
I haven't a clue.
She said at the start something is wrong and it's a trap, but it kind of wasn't a trap, just they got distracted with Scorpius. I'm sure it's fine anyway.
Maybe Moya's pregnant again.
Oh no.
That's my go-to. Just everyone is pregnant.
Season 4, everyone is pregnant. Rigel is pregnant.
The season of pregnancies.
Well, season of death, followed by the season of new life.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
That is not what that is, in any sense. Do not quote George Lucas. Do you have a quote from this episode?
It's just fate, as usual, keeping its bargain and screwing us in the fine print.
He feels very hard done by.
Things haven't been exactly smooth while he's been in space. You would think that reuniting with Aaron would be amazing and wonderful, and it was this instead.
It was okay. She was just cosplaying as Scorpius.
Had a bit of the flu.
It's the first time in a lot of episodes where they've used Sebastian heat delirium as a plot device.
It's been so long that I forgot the seriousness of it. In my head, it was just annoying and you could solve it easily. I forgot that it was this fatal thing.
It's the living death. It's very serious, but they kind of never get it. Even when they go to really hot planets, or when they have been to them, they haven't got it.
It's not a good disease at attacking people.
It's technically a syndrome, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's more like the convenient death. It strikes whilst the plot is warm. But hey, what do you know? Aaron was fine in the end.
Good thing Scorpius had a spare suit in exactly her size.
Well, she's Scorpius' size. He looks a lot bulkier, but the suits are quite stretchy.
If you say so.
As of this episode, the gender balance on the ship is the most even it's ever been. In fact, it's pretty much equal, isn't it?
Don't make me count.
Yeah, if you count Moya, which you should do if you count Pilot, then it's equal. So that's a good thing, I guess. Of course, when Jothi returns, that'll...
No!
You forgot about that guy.
Deliberately.
Well, now you get the joy of forgetting about him all over again.
I envy anyone who doesn't know Jothi.
Let's go on to the next episode.
Okay.